There is a particular kind of power in the modern workplace that announces itself through absence. It arrives as an email at 11:47 p.m., creating a tension that lingers in the air long after the next meeting ends. While the image of the screaming, table-pounding executive has largely receded, the loudest person in the room is rarely the most dangerous. Modern toxic leadership has become patient and sophisticated. These leaders haunt a workplace, using a style of control that remains difficult to identify until the damage is already done. Psychologists categorize this behavior under the dark triad, a specific constellation of 3 personality traits that fundamentally alter how power is exercised. This organizational chart reflects the data. Between 3 and 12% of senior leadership positions are occupied by individuals who meet the clinical threshold for at least one of these traits. If you find yourself chronically exhausted at work, understanding these percentages is the first step towards seeing the invisible system you're currently operating within. The first operator is the hero. This narcissistic leader requires every success to be attributed directly to them, viewing the team as a chorus, present only to amplify the myth of the leader's indispensability. Then there is the fox. Highly Machiavellian, they operate in the quiet of the corridor, treating information as currency and manipulation as a form of professional efficiency. Finally, the ice represents the psychopathic personality in a corporate setting. They lack the neurological capacity to feel the weight of another person's experience, processing a struggling colleague as a mathematical variable that is either performing or failing. While their motivations differ, these 3 archetypes utilize the same mechanical systems to extract control from those around them. The first mechanical lever is the fog of vagueness. It occurs when an urgent task is assigned without a deadline, a clear scope, or defined success criteria. As this chart shows, a vague assignment forces you to branch downward into a series of assumptions just to move the project forward. Because the constraints were withheld, every single one of these paths eventually leads to a failure state. When the project is reviewed, the leader uses that failure to conclude that you simply weren't ready for the responsibility. This lack of organization functions as a door left deliberately unlocked, designed to transfer the blame directly onto you. The fog of vagueness ensures that the operator remains beyond reproach, while you are left to answer for the resulting confusion. The second mechanism is called intermittent reinforcement. You experience this as unpredictable swings, sudden glowing praise, which is immediately followed by sharp, unexpected criticism. This graph represents an employee's dopamine cycle under these conditions. When rewards are unpredictable, the brain's reward system goes into overdrive. This is the same mechanism that makes a slot machine addictive. You aren't experiencing pleasure, you are experiencing seeking. You work harder to decode the pattern, becoming dependent on the next positive interaction to relieve the tension. Decoding the boss's unpredictable behavior becomes an exhausting, central obsession. This constant anxiety is the intended outcome of a fear-based loop, keeping you tethered to the operator's whims. Once you recognize these tactics, the standard instinct is to fight back by explaining yourself or campaigning for credibility. However, a manipulator requires an emotional map to maintain control. Every visible reaction you provide hands them a glowing coordinate on that map, showing them exactly where to press next. The mirror defense removes that map by creating a pause between stimulus and response. Practically, this involves asking for written clarity on vague tasks and refusing to attach your identity to sudden praise or criticism. By refusing to react, you wipe the map clean. A manipulator will eventually stop relying on a tool that produces unpredictable results. This capacity to remain present and unmovable while the room plays its games is emotional fitness. It is the ability to recognize a psychological mechanism in real time and choose not to absorb it.